The Big H Podcast, tune in now. Conversations that'll wow. Laugh and learn, stay a while. Let's explore that Hilton style. From the highs to the lows, every story just explodes. Mike's got questions on the go, diving deep from head to toe. Every week the guests align, sharing moments so divine. Stay with us, the pace is fine. Every episode you'll find. The Big H Podcast, tune in now. Conversations that'll wow. Laugh and learn, stay a while. Let's explore that Hilton style.
Mr. Ed Mascadri, Hilton School Board member, Chief of Schools in the Rochester City School District. Thanks for sitting down with me on the Big H Podcast.
Thanks for having me. It's an honor to be here and engage in conversation with you.
It is, because I think we have a lot in common in terms of our interest in, not only the education of America's youth. We have a lot of interest in sports together. Our children both are attending or have attended Hilton Central Schools. I guess I want to start with today. Tell me a little bit about how your day was today. I mean, I'm a teacher. That's where you grew up as a teacher, and we'll get into a little bit more of that. But tell me a little bit about the chief of schools and maybe what that job entails on a day-to-day basis.
Sure. So I have a network of schools that includes two programs under my portfolio. I engage with the building leaders in the school communities in the work that they do on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly and yearly basis. Work alongside, provide resources, supports to help students engage and be successful in their education.
And we were talking off the podcast. Did you know from an early age that you wanted education, or did you want to go into another career path?
I did not, even though my father was an educator. He worked in the Hilton School District, was a math teacher, assistant principal, and principal. My mom also was an educator. She worked in the Hilton School District as well for a short, brief period, and then eventually most of her career was spent in the Rochester City School District. But even having parents that were educators, I kind of, as we discussed earlier, grew up in an era where, Dick Vitale was very popular and his charisma in interaction and announcing on TV was kind of drew me into interest in becoming like a sports broadcaster. So when I graduated Hilton, eventually enrolled at St. John Fisher College with the intention of becoming a sports broadcaster. Merely because I just loved watching and listening to people like Dick Vitale and how they drew people to the TV screen and to their announcing and broadcasting. But, like we discussed, as I was in class one day, calculus class, an older Italian gentleman, Dr. Palawiquis Arpaia, came into the classroom and tried to recruit students to become members of the math department at St. John Fisher. So I kind of took, to a relationship with the guy, met with him, thought it would be a great opportunity. And so switched my major from journalism over to math.
What year in college? Was that your freshman year or sophomore year?
It was my sophomore year.
Okay. And was it easy to do with credits and everything, or it didn't put you behind or anything like that?
It was. I kind of struggled transitioning from high school into college. So I think that struggle throughout my freshman year kind of guided me in that direction of looking for a relationship or a colleague or a peer that I could kind of build a relationship with and engage in a program that just seemed interesting.
So you graduated Hilton High School in 2000?
I graduated Hilton High School in 1996. Sorry, 96. I graduated Fisher in 2000.
Okay, thank you. Well, I looked you up on LinkedIn, so maybe it sent me off. If you don't mind me asking, you said you had a little struggle in your transition. What did you mean by that?
It was just difficult, right? The transition from high school to college was difficult from a guidance perspective, an independent perspective, kind of having to grow up quicker than I was obviously ready to do. But finding the supports both within your family and within your friend group to be able to support you in defining that transition and working through the struggles that you have to work through really helped me out and put me on the right path into my sophomore year.
Explain a little bit about your family, because I know there's all three boys. Where do you fit in the line, and what are they doing nowadays?
So I'm the youngest of three boys. The other two will tell you I'm the spoiled child.
Of course, I think all the way. The
Right.
youngest one is spoiled.
Right.
Yeah.
My older brother, Pete, is currently a phys ed teacher at Pine Brook in the Hilton Central School District. We both started teaching the same year in 2000 after graduating college. Pete obviously graduated from Hilton and then went on to SUNY Brockport to get his degree there. My oldest brother, Tony, currently works for Honda out in Ohio. Tony graduated from Hilton in 1992. When he left Hilton, went to the University of Notre Dame, spent 4 years there, graduated, and right from graduating Notre Dame, went out to Ohio to work for Honda.
Okay. Earlier you said that transition going from you were looking for maybe some mentorship and things going into college. How has that helped shape you with your leading of youth now, and when they come into the high school levels and whatnot?
So I think that's eventually what drew me back to Hilton, right?
Okay.
Those relationships you build throughout your childhood. Often people say it takes a village to raise a child, and that's what Hilton is or was for me and my brothers. So I think as I engaged in the practice of teaching and learning, I often look back at the teachers that I had good relationships with, and tried to resemble some of the same qualities that I felt I got when I was in their classroom that helped make me successful through my career.
Well, you already mentioned the one professor in St. John Fisher, the Italian professor. I'll screw up his name, so I'll leave that. What were some of the teachers in Hilton maybe that made an impression on you and influenced you?
Almost every single one. Some of the names that come to mind are Monfiletto, Mike Mayer. I'm going to leave some out. And it's really
that's okay. It's a tough question, but you mentioned, whatever. So you got Monfiletto and Mike Mayer. And, they're still out there, so they can still hear you.
Right.
And Christopher, of course, he does all the games and stuff. Mike Mayer does go to a lot of the basketball games. And of course, you don't want to offend anybody being a school board member now.
That's right.
So I already asked you when you wanted to be in education. So you went to St. John Fisher. Did you live on campus, or was that an easy choice to go to college for the journalism portion of your life that you wanted to pursue?
I didn't live on campus. I lived at home.
Okay.
The interesting thing was, coming out of Hilton, I had a really tight-knit friend group. What's even more interesting is that tight-knit friend group still exists. We still see each other regularly. We're still in each other's lives daily and weekly. And, as we all some of us went to college, some of us went into the workforce. But as we started moving on in our life and getting married and having families, we all became part of each other. So I tell people one of the greatest qualities of Hilton is it creates that tight-knit bond, and that you build those relationships that last a lifetime.
That's really good, because I can see sometimes my grade level, I don't think the class of 87, I don't know if we had that so much, but then I look at my older brother, 85, they do have very similar families, all end up residing close. What is it about Hilton, if you could pin 2 or 3 qualities on it, that makes it a nice place to bring back your family and to raise it? And
it's the community. I always go back to the relationships. the way people lift each other, represent each other, help each other out. I think that's a huge reason why people come back. But they get to know each other, and it's those relationships that they form, I think, help them grow all the way from, when you have them early on in their educational career, all the way through high school and beyond.
So you got a Bachelor of Arts in Math at St. John Fisher, and upon graduating, did you get a job immediately right in the city school district?
I did. It's a lot like we're experiencing right now with teacher shortage.
Okay.
I actually got a job out of Fisher before completing my student teaching requirement. I moved right into a math position at Edison Tech, where my mom was working. I was slated to start my student teaching in September of 2000 and got a phone call saying, we don't have math teachers. We can actually hire you as a math teacher. And if you work your first year full-time in the district, it will count towards your student teaching requirement.
That's great. Do you remember your first class or your first course you taught?
It was extremely nerve-wracking. Yeah. I mean, reality set in really fast. Really fast. But, again, like I spoke to earlier, being able to remember the positive experiences, the great experiences that you had growing up in Hilton, kind of set the stage for a person like me to step right into the classroom.
How do you think the students perceived you that first year?
I was almost the same age as them.
I know. I'm thinking, God, you barely were 22 years old.
Right. So, I anchored into having parents that were engaged in education. I could see positive results from their interactions and how they worked with students. So it's kind of like a combination of all the things coming together.
Okay.
Establishing good, solid, trusting relationships with students in the classroom, setting high expectations, and working with them and providing them what they need to be successful.
Yeah, you probably were around the dinner table at home when you're growing up, a lot of teacher talk.
Oh, yeah.
With dad and mom. So you, Edison, and then were you taught at Edison your whole time before you started entering the principal positions, or what'd you do?
So I spent the first 11, 12 years of my career at Edison. I taught for several years. At the time, my mom was still teaching in the building. Eventually, my mom left the classroom and became the registrar for the building.
Okay.
In the registrar description, you are in charge of staffing the building, scheduling the building, and take care of all the grading, setting up an entire school in a computer system that really helps the school function on a day-to-day basis, and organizing all the data, setting it up. And then, so after teaching for several years, my mom was going to retire from the registrar position. So I eventually stepped into that role for about 4 years.
Okay.
Did some work as a registrar, learned about staffing and scheduling and grading, all of those items. And then, my father retired around the same time. So I kind of had two mentors working alongside of me, coaching me and how to do the work. And as I was a registrar, I kind of built some close relationships with the principal and the administrative team. And at that time, through our conversations and working together, they really encouraged me to go get my administrative degree. And at that time, which I did.
Okay. When you started, learning things in the registrar and that type, what skills did you think you maybe have lacked at, but you got really good at just through plain a good old experience?
From the teaching perspective or the registrar perspective?
I think both of them. I take both of them.
So, I think one of the greatest attributes that I have as an educator is a growth mindset, being a lifelong learner. So everything that I approach from whatever lens, whether it's teacher, registrar, administrator, even school board, just approaching things knowing that it's an opportunity to learn. I'm very reflective, so I reflect on my practice and then always look to try to better both myself and my practice in all that I do.
Great. Um, Now, during all this time, when did you meet your future wife and start adding kids to the mix?
So I think I met my wife when I was a junior in high school.
In high school?
Yeah.
Oh, high school. That's good.
Yeah. So very, very early on, we're high school sweethearts.
That's really sweet to hear. And then, how far into your career did you start having kids? And tell me a little bit about your family.
So we got married, I think, after my third or fourth year teaching. And probably about a year after we got married, found out that we were going to have kids.
Okay.
It was a double surprise because after we found out we were going to have kids, then we found out we were having twins.
Wow.
So very little preparation in getting ourselves prepared to raise a family. But, somebody once told me if you waited till you were ready to have kids, some people may never have them. So I took that advice and kind of that's what kept us going for early on during the pregnancy and the birth of our twin daughters.
And I'm a twin myself. And then when, my mother, they didn't know. It was a long, long time ago that she was pregnant with twins. How was it, raising twin daughters? Did you change a lot of diapers? Did you have help? Or did your wife just buck up and do all of that?
First off, my wife is the best. She takes, being a person that has such a busy schedule, she takes the lead on a lot of things in our household and has for a number of years, which is very, very supportive for our entire family.
Right.
But yeah, we needed a lot of help.
Yeah.
We have a son also who's now 13. So comparing raising twins, two babies at the same time, compared to having one, it's a whole different world.
And off the podcast, we were talking. Tell the listeners the range of the ages of your children.
So our twin daughters are going to be in about 2 months are going to be 21. Okay. And our son is 13. Okay. So a good 8 years between them, 7-8 years.
All right. And if you wouldn't mind, tell me again about where your daughters go to school, because I think you got a nice story from this past weekend.
Oh yeah. So my daughter Madeline goes to Purdue. She's in her senior year. She'll be finishing up her senior year at the end of May or the beginning of May. Maria goes down in Fort Myers to Florida Gulf Coast University. So both of them have been doing excellent at college. Right. Obviously, it was a transition for them too. Sure. And it's just been great. It's been great watching them grow and be successful in their future endeavors.
I want to ask you, and I ask this to some people, you have obviously those kids that they go out of state and everything. What was that like, that first month for you as a parent when your babies have left the nest?
Oh, I tell people all the time, it's the worst experience in the world. I mean, it's probably a great step in life, but from a parent perspective, it's almost like sending your child on the bus for the first time going to kindergarten. You got to adapt. But what I think it has done for us is you travel a lot more and visit them and be able to engage with them at a different level.
And you did go to the Purdue Notre Dame game, I understand, right?
We did. Friday we went to Chicago. My daughter, Purdue's 2 hours from Chicago. Okay. So it's a lot easier for us to fly to Chicago and for her to drive up than to drive 8.5 hours. So we got to spend some good quality time with her. Saturday morning, left Chicago and drove out to South Bend because Notre Dame was playing Purdue. So we got to go watch the Notre Dame Purdue game.
Very nice.
Well, only half of it because of the rain delay.
Yeah, that was a long rain delay.
It sure was. Yeah. But, I mean, it's just those experiences, right? You make the best of them because your child's not with you at home every day. So you try to go visit them and create opportunities to spend time with them, not as you would normally if they were living under your roof.
And share with me again what the careers they're pursuing.
So Madeline is in chemical engineering, and Maria is in pre-law at Florida Gulf Coast University.
All right. Now, do you think you're ever going to get them back in New York State, or they're just loving where they're at?
Yeah, probably not.
Not.
I don't know what opportunities for a chemical engineer, but
Mm-hmm.
Madeline's starting to engage in the process of looking
Mm-hmm.
for job opportunities, and most of them are not in New York State. Maria absolutely loves Florida. She became a Florida resident, which
Okay.
has helped out immensely with tuition down there. But she loves it down there, and so she will probably seek out some kind of law school in Florida. But we get to visit her a lot too. My parents do have a place in Florida, so we do frequent Florida a lot as well.
Yeah, because you were saying that the kids being out of state, it's giving you the opportunity to do a lot more traveling and stuff. Okay, so then you got the daughters, seniors in college, and then the son who's in 8th grade. Tell me a little bit about him. What's his interests and things like that must keep you busy here now.
He does. For example, this weekend we're going to travel to Ohio for soccer.
Okay.
We come back and then we go right back to Ohio the following weekend for soccer. So he's an avid soccer player, plays basketball, and absolutely loves playing golf too.
Okay.
Actually plays more golf than I do.
Now, because golf was one of your big games. Does he play for the high school team yet?
He did last year,
Okay.
and he has intentions of playing again as well. So.
Well, good. I know Coach Heise will want him back there. Soccer was big in your family too, right? Wasn't your dad big in soccer?
Yep. My dad's an Italian immigrant.
Uh-huh.
Came over to the country when he was 8 or 9 years old. But that was our family sport, right? Being a sport that my dad played so extensively. He played in high school. My dad's a graduate of East High School.
Mm-hmm.
Played in high school and then eventually played at St. John Fisher, and also played, I think, at South Bend as well when he went to Notre Dame for his master's degree. But eventually came back to Rochester and played for the Rochester Lancers.
Wow, I didn't know he played professionally for the Lancers.
Yep.
Your high school days, which sports did you participate in?
I played soccer as well.
Mm-hmm.
I also played basketball, and I played tennis because Hilton did not have a golf team at the time when I was in Hilton.
And I'm sure if they had a golf team, you would have been doing that.
Absolutely.
When you were going through Hilton, any other clubs, any interest with instruments or, I don't know, drama clubs or anything like that? Or,
I was on student council, participated. I was always at the building and in the community,
mm-hmm.
right? Having a parent that was, at the time my dad was serving as an administrator. He was a past principal.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of a lot of the things we did as a family were part of the community.
Mm-hmm.
We would go to events all hours of the day. And whether we were engaged in the event or attending because, my father was an employee and we
mm-hmm.
had to go support whatever program was on that day.
Stress your memory here. What were some of those community events that you attended, either as a school community member or as a son of an administrator?
It was everything, all the athletic events, band concerts, chorus concerts, theater plays. It was even community events. I think my dad was like a Lions Club member.
Mm-hmm.
So even Lions Club events, Apple Fest, all the things that would happen in Hilton. It was almost every single day there was something going on.
Does he live over there on Peck Road now? Right around the corner from here? No. You said Florida.
He moved out of his house on Peck Road.
Okay.
My brother, Pete, myself, and my parents all live in the same complex, which is off of Peck Road. Okay,
you know who knew that was my son. He's 20, and he's like, I think they live in like a whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were in student council in high school. Did you ever, when you were younger, predict that you would not only be a high school or school administrator, but you'd also be in a school board?
Everything to do with my career after leaving Hilton has kind of gone in the direction it has with no plan or intention for it to go in the direction that it has.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I eventually wanted, at some point during my stay at Fisher, wanted to become a teacher,
mm-hmm.
Which I did. But from that point forward, it was kind of like The relationships I built with colleagues and the work I did with colleagues kind of led me in the direction that I went up until this point.
Where did you do your administrative certificate work?
So I did it at two different places. I did half of it at SUNY Brockport and the other half at Massachusetts College of Liberal Arts.
Okay. Throughout when you were getting your administrative certificate, was there any type of a teacher that had a really profound effect on you or influence?
There were, because most of the people that taught at SUNY Brockport were administrators or retired administrators. So, building relationships with them and understanding their experiences kind of helps guide you in your leadership practice as you go through the program. It's those real life experiences that you either listen to or live or understand that kind of help guide your leadership when you're actually in the seat.
Do you feel like you possess any natural skills that just helped you as a teacher and then as administrator?
I don't know if I possess them automatically. I think they were skills that I learned kind of through my both my educational career and my teaching career along the way. Being somebody that's very reflective and growth mindset, being able to observe and the experiences that you have with the individuals that you work with, kind of understanding how others' successes happen and acquiring those attributes and applying them to your leadership or your work, I think kind of help you become more successful as you're in your journey, both as a learner and as a teacher or an educator.
Tell me a little bit about maybe some challenging a moment that you've had as an administrator and how you went about it. Because you say, you're definitely right about the reflective and the growth mindset. And then when something appears in front of you, how do you remain so cool, calm, and collected and handle that situation?
It's a great question. And I think it changes as your experiences happen and as you go further on down your career and experience wise. I think your reactions or your leadership early on in your career are way different than they are,
right,
the longer you spend in that career. But there's so many that I've learned from, probably one of the biggest ones that I tell people right now. I became the principal at East High School. The day that I became the principal, the current principal took over for Dr. Nelms and became the superintendent. So I had to fill the shoes of somebody that was very, very successful, that was part of a group that kind of redesigned the school, worked with educational partnership with the U of R to turn the school around and make it very successful. And that was a position that I had to fill for an individual that was doing the work and now was my supervisor,
right,
living in the same space as me. So, and as a school. So, I tell people it was probably one of the most difficult jobs, but at the same time, most rewarding, because I was learning from somebody that was extremely effective as a leader, and was probably one of the best coaches I had.
Great example. Growing up, when I say growing up, that could be anywhere before when you're 10 until you get that first job. Any early jobs that you did along the way that you made, some pocket money for summertime for?
Oh, there were so many different ones. I worked at Tops, which was a big grocery store.
In the village?
Tops was not in the village when I was there, I don't think. I think it was Big M still.
Yeah.
When I was in Hilton. Yep. But I worked at Tops, worked at the mall, at some technology stores. But, being somebody that was engaged in so many athletics and so many things outside of the school day, it was very difficult to work while in school.
Right.
Plus, when you're part of teams, there's other expectations around volunteering and supporting the community outside of the season that we would engage in as well.
Yeah, you're a busy guy when you're an athlete. There's not a lot of downtime for other things. Let's go to the school board. How many years have you served on our school board?
I'm going into this is my 5th year on the school
Fifth
board.
year. Um, can I ask you, what was the reason you first ran for it? I mean, I know you had children and things like that. I mean, clearly you were very qualified with your advanced teaching and administrative, but what was your reason?
I think the biggest reason I ran and wanted to be a part of it was to learn it.
Okay.
It's a different side
Mhm.
of the educational world. So I'm always under the impression of the more that you can learn, the more that you can grow,
Uh-huh.
right? As an employee, as an educator. So it was mostly to join a group of very committed individuals to basically, for the most part, learn how it operates and what it does.
And being on the school board, how has that enhanced your effectiveness as an administrator in the city?
It's the other side, right? As the administrator,
That's true.
The work that you do is governed by the school board
Right.
in most sense. So being able to sit on a school board and work with other individuals on that other side
Right.
really offers a different perspective.
Sure.
It's also, I think, helped me grow in my profession,
Uh-huh.
right? Because a lot of things that I do as chief of schools has to do with interacting with the school board in the city. So being a person that sits in that seat and has sat in that seat, I can understand points of view and understand mindsets and thinking, which help me navigate the work that I do as a chief of schools.
Now, if you wouldn't mind, can you give me an example of something that maybe you understand as a community member might not understand, but as a school board member, you kind of understand the other side of the fence?
Budget is a big
Okay.
one.
Tell me a little bit about that.
I've learned more about school budget from serving on the school board in Hilton than I've ever known working in a school district. It's been a huge, it's had huge impact on me understanding how money comes in, how money goes out, and the legalities behind both transactions.
Uh-huh. And how have you seen how well that the Hilton School Board works together? Like, what's some qualities that helps them mesh together?
We spend time learning about each other. We just actually sat through, did some board work last night.
Okay.
Around building relationships, understanding work styles, understanding points of view, which are very crucial aspects to having high functioning teams, which we've done and made great progress on as a school board.
Now I'm going to some general questions. You've been in education for how many years?
So
from teaching to now.
I'm in my 26th year.
Okay. If you had to say, like, how has education changed in 26 years?
Immensely.
Right.
Right.
And
I think I tell people the one single thing in my eye that's changed education the most is technology, personal technology use, right? Cell phones, iPads, computers. I think that's had the greatest impact both on education and on humans and children.
Now, when you were using technology early on in the classroom, did you appeal right to it, or was it a little bit difficult for you to get your hands around?
It's a great question. When I was into my 3rd year teaching, I had like the first laptop cart in the entire building, and they were actual laptops that you had to plug in. Some of my work that I did in my master's degree was integrating technology into the classroom. But I can tell you the way I integrated technology, 23 years ago and the way it's used now in the classroom are two totally different versions.
Mm-hmm. And a couple other nuances. Social media, how has that affected the community in the school?
From a chief of school leadership perspective, it has a drastic impact on, the day-to-day operations of schools. I think it has a bigger impact on humans and human beings, their ability to coexist, to kind of communicate, oftentimes I think personal electronics, cell phones, social media kind of remove that interaction, which I think is crucial for growth of people, both in the education system and in their professions.
How has the city been dealing with the bell-to-bell ban? Because I know the whole New York State's going underneath that policy.
Yeah, so one of my first leadership moves was when I was an assistant principal at Edison Tech.
Yeah.
In 2000, I think it was 2012, we actually implemented the first cell phone ban of a school building in the city back then, which was, it made headline news because it was one of the first schools to do it. But I have to say, ever since that happened in 2012, we've had a pseudo bell-to-bell ban with technology in every building that I've been at. So every building that I've been at since 2012 collects cell phones. So students have been able to use them for many, many years. So it was kind of a smooth transition for us.
Yeah.
Once the state implemented it, we just went about business as usual because that's what we did.
So I can do the math. I'm not a math teacher, but that's 13 years. So this isn't your first rodeo, as they say?
No, not at all.
How about artificial intelligence? How do you think that's going to affect the field of education?
That's going to have a big impact, I think. It's growing in our district from an employee perspective. I think a lot of people are starting to navigate how impactful it can be on practice in a positive way. The question is, how do you transition using it when adults are using it to support students and not to interrupt their ability to learn and grow as they should, and not rely on a tool to actually do it for them.
How have your daughters, how has artificial intelligence affected them at their school? Do they ever talk about it? Do you ever discuss that with them?
We really don't talk much about it.
Yeah.
I think they are, I can't commend the Hilton District for how well they prepared our kids to go to college. A lot of things that they learned helped them jump right into it. They were very successful from the get-go. And I think the skill set that they learned and established in the Hilton District kind of prepared them into college and removed that need for them to rely on AI to support their growth while in college.
Well put. Well put. What do you see in your future? I mean, you've risen to extremely high levels. I guess, are you content, or if something else opens up the door, will you take a leap of faith?
That's an interesting question, because if you'd have asked me 25 years ago, I would have said, I'm going to be a teacher for 35 years, and then I'm going to retire.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't close the door on opportunity. I talk a lot about relationships. The relationships that I've established with colleagues throughout both the district I work in and live in have been great. I continue to learn and grow from both, from all positions that exist within education, from clerical members, from custodial members, to people that run operations, instruction, leaders in schools, teachers. So I think those relationships and having colleagues close to me help guide where you end up next in your career.
Okay, well said. One more serious question, and then just got some fun ones. You're a reflective type of person. What are 3 words you think that people might say about Ed Mascadri? So basically, I'm saying for you to look in the mirror and either say, I think this is what they would think.
I think they would say trustworthy, collaborative, and team player.
Pretty big things that you need for a successful organization. So thank you for that.
Absolutely.
It's not always the easiest thing to answer. Okay, some fun things. Favorite food? Don't tell me pasta.
Well, having a father that's a Italian immigrant, there's nothing else on Sundays than a nice pasta dinner. But
good
homemade sauce and pasta.
All right.
Absolutely.
Now, does your wife make her own pasta sauce or what?
We just had that conversation this past Sunday.
Yeah.
So she does not yet.
Does not yet?
No.
Is she going to take it from her mother-in-law or whatever?
No. We
Okay.
we've kind of, as you grow away from family, you start to refine your own sauce, and it becomes your own.
So what do? You add something extra? You take something away, or like how does that go?
You kind of try little changes here and there, but the one rule is you have to use San Marzano tomatoes in the sauce. That is the one standing rule.
All right.
And lots of garlic.
And lots of garlic. All right. Your favorite movie? And sometimes people can only narrow it down to 2 or 3, but
I'm not a big movie person.
Okay.
Completely opposite from my wife, who will name every movie and every star in every movie.
No kidding.
But I am a big Liam Neeson, I think that's his name, movie person.
Okay.
I would say the Taken series.
All right. Are you well? Even if you're not, you got to fake as being a reader. Favorite book?
Ooh, favorite book.
You can plug an educational book or something, or a quote even.
I would say favorite book, as I was going through my leadership journey, was the book about Tiger Woods and his career. I don't remember who the author was, but it was just it was great to be able to relate to somebody in their journey of becoming such a great success.
Favorite sports team or sports athlete?
Diehard Notre Dame fan.
Okay.
Coming from a family that had a brother and a father that both graduated from Notre Dame. But when my daughter went to Purdue, it was even a struggle to get my dad to wear some Boilermaker gear, but it did happen.
Forgive me, I'm a teacher of third graders. They're in the same state, right? Purdue and ND?
They are actually about an hour and a half, and 45 minutes away.
Unfortunately, I thought I kind of had a inkling they were going to get rolled last year by Ohio State. It just seemed like it was Ohio State's year, but
yeah, they always struggle with the big time games, but I think they're starting to make headway in being able to prepare for them.
Yeah, and then I do think their loss to Miami and then Texas A&M. I think by the end of the year, those are going to look like good losses. Those teams are quality.
Hopefully, they got a lot of work to do with their defense.
Yeah, but then I did hear like College Game Day. I'm a College Game Day nerd. I love watching to see if the guy makes the kick. They played the last 10 games. I think there's only one ranked team. So
correct.
All right. Favorite TV show or binge show?
The interesting fact about me.
Don't tell me you don't watch TV.
On average, I'm somewhere between 3 and 5 minutes of TV a day.
No kidding. Good. That's excellent to hear.
Yeah.
And then I'll have to follow on top of it. What do you do for relaxation?
I think that's what my wife and I's outside of work time is kind of morphed into, traveling, seeing our kids, actually, being able to attend our son's athletic events and school events is almost our relaxation time. You asked me earlier what my day looks like. I'll probably leave the house somewhere between 7:30 and 8 o'clock. And then it's not abnormal for me not to get home till 7, 8 o'clock at night. So you add sleep into that, there's not a lot of time to sit around and watch TV.
Good. Well, they used to call it the idiot box anyway. So
I know. I do try to watch golf.
I hope so, yeah. At least the majors, right?
Right. Yep.
A couple more of these favorites, I guess. Anything on your bucket list? You know what a bucket list is, right?
I do.
That you'd love to do.
My wife and I talk about it all the time. We want to get to Italy. I want to be able to see the town where my dad grew up and visit with family that's still over there.
Nice.
Be able to meet them and really travel outside the country when hopefully we both get time to retire and enjoy our retirement and experience those types of things.
Well, I think you are going to be able to. You're only 47, I think you told me, right?
Yes.
You're going to have some good years together.
I hope so.
One more, and then I'm going to ask you for some wise words. What's a person from history you'd like to have dinner with?
A person from history.
I mean, they can be alive or dead. It can be a relative or, you know.
I would love to have dinner with Dick Vitale.
Is he alive still?
He is.
Okay.
Um,
Because you've referenced him many, many a times.
yeah.
He did revolutionize college basketball for sure. What was it about him that made him so alluring to him that you almost followed him into the profession?
I think it's the way he could communicate and encourage people to grow as people, and to set goals, aspirational goals, and encourage people to meet those goals. It was when you watched him. I watched him give some speeches at some basketball camps, and it almost felt like the words that he was communicating helped people in front of him, get to the next level, to be more successful, to kind of put forth the effort that it would take to be, the best they can be.
Would you make him eat pasta?
I think he would want to.
I think he would. He's got the paisan, right?
Right.
All right, one more, and then I'm going to say our goodbyes. Can you give some wise words to maybe a Hilton High School senior who's pursuing education?
You're ready. Right?
You're ready. Okay.
The district's prepared you. You just have to put forth the effort. Remember what you learned. Remember the relationships that you built. I also think it's important for seniors to know they've established relationships and connections in the district that are not ending when their high school career or their K-12 career ends. Those are people that are mentors, coaches, people that could help them continue on in their life.
Well put. Well, Ed, I really thank you for joining me on the Big H podcast. I think these are great words to live by, not only as an educator, teacher, school board member, father, even probably more so. If you like what you see, hit the follow button on the bottom and turn on your notifications so you don't miss an episode. You can follow me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and of course, YouTube at the Big H Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. This has been Mascadri's Message on the Big H Podcast.
Thank you. It's been an honor.
It's been a pleasure on my part.
The Big H Podcast, tune in now. Conversations that'll wow. Laugh and learn, stay a while. Let's explore that Hilton style. From the highs to the lows, every story just explodes. Mike's got questions on the go, diving deep from head to toe. Every week the guests align, sharing moments so divine. Stay with us, the pace is fine. Every episode you'll find